Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Thursday, July 31st. It is 6:26 right now. We got market opening up in about 4 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark up liquidity over here real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Dropping down to the 4 hour. We had a bit of a choppy market all week, so we'll see if this, price finally breaks out of this chop. If not, then, I'm still gonna be a bit cautious with my entries here. Um, we'll see. We really won't know until the market actually opens up. We got NFP tomorrow, so hopefully the market does pick up a bit. 30 minute, 15 minute, ten minute, and down to the 1 minute here. All right, and it looks like we are good to go. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, July 31st. It is 6:28 right now. We have market opening up in about 2 minutes. Depending on how this candle over here closes, if this closes with a red sell signal, the momentum breakout is going to be a sell. If it doesn't close with a red momentum, then it's going to be a buy for the momentum breakout. If you guys are going to be looking to take that, you'll know in a few moments. This candle is going to close in about 15 seconds. I've marked up liquidity over here. As you guys can see, we have a ton of liquidity above. So if price does push up, we might have a nice push to the upside. Looking over here at our daily outlook, our overall bias is bullish with caution. Momentum is fueled by blowout earnings from Microsoft and Meta and trade deal optimism. But Powell's hawkish tone keeps expectations in check. So yesterday the Fed spoke, and Powell mentioned that he's not ready to make cuts yet for the interest rates. So with that being said, he's still hawkish on interest rates, and we'll probably get that cut maybe later in the summer or early in the fall. So, all right, guys. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Jonathan. Morning, Rev. Morning, Lila. Morning, Maria. Morning, everybody. So we got market opening up here in about 30 seconds, guys. Momentum breakout is going to be a buy for today if you guys are looking to take that. Overall trend for right now is currently bearish with regards to pretty much all the time frames, the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour. You can see here price is below the pivots. Trend mirror is green or red, and pivots are angling to the downside. Trend mirror is green here on the 30 minute, but it's going to be shifting possibly if price stays below here. And the 15 minute here is neutral, but we'll see what happens here in a few as soon as market opens up. And market is now open here. We got price kind of spiking around a little bit. We'll kind of see what happens here in a few as price continues to move along. Looking over here at the news for today. So we had news at 5:30, jobs data, inflation data. We have Chicago PMI at 645. So 5:30, 645, and that's about it. Some high impact news right here at 645. And we had jobs data over here at 5:30. All right, so we got price kind of spiking around a little bit. We have a liquidity sweep that just happened right here off this higher high. Looks like pretty strong sweep right there. Price came all the way down. Yeah, so price swept right there. And price is coming down lower now as we speak. This could be setting up for the possible orb entry. So let me go over here real quick. All right, so if you guys are looking to take the orb high is going to be right there at 44,708. Orb low is going to be right here at 44,634. It's gonna be pretty tricky for the orb here if you guys are looking to take it. There's gonna be, I mean, there's two different opportunities here that could be setting up. I mean, ideally, I'm gonna be looking for an orb for a sell, of course, mainly because the overall trend here is bearish. So if I do take the orb, I'll probably be taking it for a sell here. It would have to come down lower. Pretty messy market here. The same thing that's been happening pretty much every day this week. We have another sweep here where price swept right back up. But as you guys can see, there's not really too much movement here. We had some pretty heavy consolidation range pre-market, and then price spiked below here, and we're going to see if it actually holds. Yeah, so we got price here pushing right back up. Let me check the orb again. Yeah, if you guys want to take the orb, if price breaks and closes past this 44,708, you can put your limit order right there at 44,708 for a retest. It looks like the orb here might be a buy. It's a really tricky orb though, because we have a lot of red flags here. We have sessions right here at this red line. This is the London low. We have price over here sweeping off liquidity. Yeah, I'd be careful. So another strong sweep right there. This price pulls back down. So again, if you want to take this orb here, guys, price has to break and close past this 44,708. Does not look like that's going to happen here. We're getting a huge spike. Yeah, huge spike right there. So no break and close yet. This has kind of been the same case pretty much every day this week with the orb. If you guys remembered, we get a lot of fake outs around these areas. Like yesterday, I took the buy and then I pulled out of it because it pulled down at the last second. So again, right here, this is really tricky, these entries. And if you guys want to take entries, I think sweeps are probably going to be your best option for today, kind of similar to yesterday. I'm going to look for directional moves, but not right now necessarily, because you guys can see how price is kind of moving around. If this is the case and price continues to push up higher, the trend here might shift to the bullish trend. We don't have that yet, but there's a possibility. Another rejection right here off the London low. See how price is getting manipulated off that area. Yeah, at this point, like I said, this is probably best to just sit tight and wait for the setups to come to you. There's no need to chase these entries here because you can see how price does not really have a direction. Price is pushing up, huge wicks on both ends. Looking over here at the market profile. So market profile right now is showing a nice rejection off both sides right now. So price can really go either direction. It's pushing off the point of control and it's also pushing off the value low down here. So I mean, it's really a toss up right now with regards to direction of price. So again, right here, we have a possible break and close past it. We'll see if it actually breaks and closes past it. If you guys want to take this, again, I'll keep reminding you guys, take it at your own risk. There's Yeah, you guys got to take this at your own risk because this thing is, you don't know if it's going to pull down to the last second again. We got about 22 seconds left on this candle right here. Again, you're going to see if this candle ends up closing above it or if it ends up closing below it. If it closes above it and you really want to take this buy, you can put your limit order right here at 44,708. This candle is going to close in about 10 seconds, so you have your opportunity coming up shortly. I'm not going to take this here because the overall trend is still very bearish and it's just it's a mess right now. The ATR is 30. Thanks, Sam, for the heads up. Jonathan said better than nothing or a loss. Yeah, and I agree 100%. So the orb right here just got filled, guys. If you guys are taking the orb entry for a buy, it's currently running in profit right now. Broke and retested the area right there at 44,708. Again, like I said earlier, this isn't a trade that I would personally be looking to take because the overall trend here is very bearish still. It's bearish on the 5-minute, bearish on the 15, bearish on the 30, bearish on the 1 hour, and bearish on the 4 hour. So with that being said, you're really going to be going against the trend here if you take any buys. So I'm not really looking to take that. I'm going to wait for something better to come along. Also, price here is at the red flag, the sessions. This could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. This is an area of manipulation. So with price being right here at the sessions, price can really spike below or it can spike above. There's no really telling where price will likely go, but you can see right here that it is now spiking below. So I'm not in this position right here, guys. I just marked it up for you guys. This is the orb entry. But like I said, the orb entry is not doing so great this week. It's either for the most part, it hasn't came up for us. But if you're taking the regular orb, you can see here, I mean, this would have hit stop if you took the regular orb. This price closed above this area right here. Entry would have happened above. Ideally, I would still like this to hit though. Even though I'm not in the position, I would like this position to still hit. because we want to see the position and trade and strategy still work perfectly fine, even though we're in these crazy market conditions right here. But again, like I said, if you're taking a buy here, this is a huge risk because everything is bearish right now. So, I mean, it's different if it's mixed, but right now it's very bearish. So you'd be going against a very strong bearish trend if you take a buy here at this moment. So trade's running right there back in profit. We might get a sideways range from this point, but like I said, ideally, I would still want this to push up and hit target. We got nothing else here. Let me go and update this. So we have a possible high-low break and retest starting to set up from this area over here. All right, so nothing's going on, guys. We're just getting a sideways range right here. Not much direction. This isn't super great for the breakout. For the breakout, you're typically looking for a quick break retest continuation. We're not getting that here. So I haven't given up on this position yet, but this isn't a good sign if price starts to range and consolidate around here. Because you can see prices, it's just getting manipulated right here at this red line, which is the London low. This is why I don't trade at the sessions, and this is why it's considered a red flag. This is a clear example of why I don't trade at the sessions. So see how price gets manipulated right here? Same with how price got manipulated down here at the Asia low. So again, I'm not in any positions here. We're still kind of following through to see where price ends up going. And it looks like price is pulling back into the demand range over here, demand slash support. All right, so no hit there for the orb. Let me clean this up a little bit, but you guys can kind of see where the orb's sitting. So again, same thing here. We pretty much we dodged a bullet here, guys, by not taking this trade. Like I said, taking buys here is very risky because the overall trend here is bearish. So obviously you don't want to go against the overall trend here. I'll keep watching to see if anything else comes up, but right now I have not taken anything. Ideally, I'd like to take sells here if I do have the opportunity. I'm gonna clean this up right here, mark this up as the new low, and we'll kind of see where price ends up going. If price drops back below this point, we get a high-low break and retest from here. I'll possibly look for entry. The thing you want to be careful for is that we have the Chicago PMI right here at 645. So we got inflation news right here. It's forecasted to be positive. It's coming up in about 5 minutes. So probably no entries until that news has come out. ATR is pretty high right now, guys. Pretty high ATR. But again, if you guys want to take an entry here, this is what I'll be looking for. A possible break and close below this lower low, retest, and continuation down lower. So this is going to be the closest high-low break and retest. It's going to be at 44,634. I'm just going to put that in my ticket window just in case I want to take this trade here. Only problem is that we do have news until 6:45. Yeah, Sam said he's just chilling. It'll get out of the range. Yeah, I agree. I think eventually it will. It's just a matter of time until it does. I'm gonna add the volume to my chart over here. So the volume isn't super necessary, but I like to see when price is above average with volume. All right, so we have a possible high-low break and retest setting up right here. If price breaks and closes below this 44,634, this could be a possible high-low break and retest entry. The only problem here is we have news coming up in about 5 minutes, so it's gonna be a little tricky for entry point right there. But if you guys want to try to get in and out very quickly, we have 5 minutes until news. So this could be a possible high-low break and retest right here at 44,634. It's where your limit order would be placed. No, it's too close to news. I don't think I'm going to take it, guys. I'm just going to hold off on it because the news is forecasted to be positive. So I don't really want to get caught in manipulation here. If you guys do want to take it, your limit order would be right here, 44,634. If it doesn't fill on this candle, which it's not looking like it's going to fill, then you have to cancel your order. So I don't even think it'll fill. It's probably not going to fill from there. It's got 30 seconds left on the candle here. 20 seconds does not look like it's going to get a fill. Again, guys, here's the orb. If you guys want to take the orb for a sell, this could be another setup right here. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't take this entry here, but this would be another setup for orb if it's something that you guys are looking for. A retest right there at the lower orb, 44,634 down below. So the orb is actually running alongside the high-low break and retest right here. I'm not in this position, but I'll follow it for you guys here. We're too close to news right here. The news is forecasted to be positive, so I'm not really looking to take anything here. This could be a pre-news movement where price might just spike up and spike back down. But yeah, there goes the setup right there for high-low break and retest. Plus, it's aligned with the orb entry right here for a sell. Not in the position. We're just too close to news right here at 6:42. We got news at 6:45, so in about 3 minutes or less. Nice. Sam's in the sell right there, so we'll follow it for you. All right, cool. Sam got in and out for 15 points. Just quick in and out for him right there, which is a smart move because we do have news coming up shortly. So not in this position right here, guys. I'll clean this up in a few. We're just going to kind of follow it here as price moves along, but I'm not in this position right here. Like I said, we have news coming up right here at 6:45. It's Chicago PMI. It's forecasted to be positive. So I don't really want to be in the opposite direction of where news is forecasted to move. Let's see. PC said rejected off stacked imbalance and too close to news for me. Yeah, exactly. Too close for news to me too. I'm gonna take this off right now. Not in the position. We're just following this here as price moves along. We got news right here in about 2 minutes, and it's forecasted to be positive. So we had a pretty much a sweep right here off the supply zone. The thing with this right here too, price broke and closed below the structure, but it wasn't above average. I mean, there wasn't enough volume behind it. So we'll see. Yeah, it's below average volume. Doesn't mean price is not going to come down though. So it's still right there. But yeah, we're about a minute from news, so I wouldn't risk it at this time. So if price comes back down lower down here, then I'll be looking to get into an entry right here for a high-low break and retest. Clean this up. So you can see fake outs in both directions. Actually, this orb right here would have been canceled because price would have hit 40 points already before it retested. But you guys can see it's just fake outs in both directions. Price pulls out of the orb, fakes out, pulls back into the range. Right here, price pulls out of the orb, fakes out, pulls back into the range. Same situation with the regular market over here. You can see how price kind of breaks out of the range here and it just pulls back into this middle area. So this is the middle area where price tends to pull back into, right down the middle. Here's the news price right here, guys. So we got the Chicago PMI. Let me check it real quick. Chicago PMI was a lot better than expected. It was forecasted to be 42 and it was actually 47.1. So very high push to the upside right there with regard to the news. And yeah, Samson got lucky. Yeah, good thing you pulled out of that one, Sam, because this is kind of what I was expecting. Price was forecasted to be positive for the news event, and price did spike up right there. So now, as price continues to move back below, I'll be looking for price to break and close below this lower low, retest, and drop lower. If that's the case, then I'll be looking to take entry from that point. So that's what's coming up next. High low break and retest off this lower low. Looking over here at the market profile, we have an upwards rejection over here off the 30-minute. So it's rejecting off the point of control. That's going to be beneficial for us to be looking for some sells. However, we do have a rejection right here off the value low. So if price doesn't stay below this point, then we're going to have rejections on both ends. But if price does stay below, it's going to be ideal for our high-low break and retest down here. So we will continue to follow here. Yeah, we will continue to follow here and see what happens. Yeah, we have an upwards rejection right here off the market profile. Looking over here on the 1 hour market profile as well, we have a rejection right here off the point of control. So it's looking good for the most part. Most part sells here are looking good. We just need price to continue dropping lower from here. Um, you can see our price is kind of just going back and forth at the moment. Yeah, ideally we want price to come down lower. If it doesn't come down lower, then there's nothing to take here right now. Not really looking for buys at the moment. Overall trend here is still very bearish, as you guys can see. Super bearish right here. Price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down. I don't know why the 30-minute over here is still bullish with regard to the trend meter, but let me just refresh it. Maybe it's not loaded up. No, it's still green there for some reason. So, I mean, other than that, the overall here is still very bearish. So the 15-minute turned red again. And yeah, everything else is kind of just sitting in limbo. So again, guys, I'm not really looking to take buys here. If you guys want to take buys, I mean, feel free to look for them, but I'm not going to be looking for buys here. The overall trend is still very bearish. Let's take a look at my daily outlook for the day. So my daily outlook is bullish with caution. Doesn't necessarily mean to keep pushing up. We got resistance kind of lined up over here at these upper levels. It's too far from current price, so it's kind of irrelevant at this point. Um, yeah, so let's see, 44,630. 44,630, 44,680. Yes, there were some fade setups over here. 44,630 from here. Breakout considerations. No, I don't really see any good setups here. I mean, there's nothing really to play with because price is kind of just going back and forth. We don't have much of a direction here. Just trying to see if my outlook over here covered anything that we could possibly look at for confluence, but you can see our price is now swinging back up. We're just in a huge range. So if you look at this closely, we're really just in a big range right here down the middle, right? Just back and forth through here. So we'll continue looking for opportunities here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Right now, of course, you can see price here is kind of just bouncing off the demand slash support levels that I have here. So we are back up here. Unfortunately, I was looking for price to come below this point, break and retest from here, but price did not continue dropping. We're just back into this upper range. So just careful for price pushing out of the range. You can see right here, this is kind of the midpoint. This is where the meat of the market is. So just be careful when price pushes out of this area, right? If price pushes above, always be cautious for the possible fake out down below. Vice versa, if price pushes below here, always be cautious for the price reversal back into the range, into this middle area. That's kind of where price is at. Market's been like this pretty much all week. I mean, it's just the market that we're kind of stuck in this week so far. I'm just looking for like one good trade, one or two good trades here to recoup for this week, and then I mean I'd be happy with that. We have NFP tomorrow, guys, so we're done with news for today for the most part. We got gas stock change at 7:30, but it's low impact. The next news event is going to be tomorrow, NFP. So this is one of those NFP weeks where the market is just not really moving directional at all. We have volatility, but we don't have much direction, right? So price is spiking. It's just spiking back and forth. So it makes it tough for us to look for entries here, especially when the overall trend is in the opposite direction. So I'm just playing it smart, not really risking too much. Yeah, just kind of playing by ear. So we'll see here if price comes back down below. If anything here happens, we'll be here to follow it. ATR is currently at 27 right now, so the volatility is high. There's just not any direction here. It's a lot higher than usual, right? Typically our ATR is below 20. Right now it's above 20. All right, not much going on here. Let's go back to the orb here. So you can see from the orb, price is really respecting the orb high and the orb low, right? When price pushes out of the orb high, fakes out, pulls back below. When price pushes below the orb low, it fakes out and pulls right back into the orb. Orb is just the opening range. So this opening range right here is pretty much where price is consolidating. It's ranging and consolidating within this area. Whenever price breaks out of it, look out for the fake out. Price may push up a little bit, look for the sweep, pull back into the range. So if you guys still want to take trades here, I mean, sweeps are going to be your best option, right? So you can look for a possible sweep right here off the higher high. You can look for a sweep here off these higher highs as well. The only problem is that we have so much liquidity up here. So if price does decide to push up higher, it's got room here to push. So we'll see. I'm not really looking to take anything here, especially not any buys, not until there's been a confirmation of a shift in trend. So we might get a shift in trend, like maybe later past the 7 o'clock hour, once the 15 minutes pushed up higher. But if we don't, then price may come back down. Looking over here at the market profile, we do have a rejection right here off the value low. So this is the value price. Price is bouncing off it and is pushing right back up. So if that's the case, we might get a push up higher. All right, not too much here going on. Again, price is failing to get past the opening range. I mean, it's past the opening range, but we'll see if it actually holds. So you can see over here, this could be a possible sweep. Yeah, Sam said he's looking for another sweep, but a bit higher. Yeah, I wouldn't go for this first sweep level, maybe the one that's a little bit higher from up here. Maybe the 44,762. You want to go for the extremes here, guys, because the volatility is very high. So price can easily pass through liquidity and push to the next level. Barack said, did you say playing by ear? Yeah, for the most part, I mean, I'm playing by ear because there's nothing to really look at here, right? Because we are looking for sells here, but price isn't below. So if price pushes above and the shift over here happens with the trend, then I'll look for some buys. So I'm not stuck in one position or one direction. I'm waiting for a confirmation here. Once I have that confirmation, I'll look for trades in that direction. But right now, the buys are not really, I'm not convinced that the buys have really shifted yet. Price is pushing past this area, so I'll clean this up a little bit, or I'll leave it as is right now. This is actually a high-low break and retest. So if you guys are looking to take this for a buy right now, high-low break and retest is currently running. You can see there's no other highs in between. This is the most recent high. So price broke and closed past it. It retested right here at the 44,737, and price is pushing in profit. This I would have been okay taking if we had a bullish trend, right? We don't have a bullish trend here yet. So the 5 minute here is starting to shift. The 1 minute's bullish. The 5 minute is starting to shift. The 15 minute here hasn't closed yet. If the 15 minute over here closes above the pivots, then we can possibly see if buys may be valid. I'd have to wait for it to actually hold above this area though. So it's going to have to hold. It can't just close above it. It needs to actually close and then hold above it. If it doesn't hold above it, then price may likely just shift right back down. Barack over here took the MPS V2 for a buy. So Barack got into MPS V2 right down here. So price broke and closed below. Or we had a buy signal right here. This retraced back and the MPS V2 happened right here. So nice work on catching that right there, Barack. Yeah, it's a little tricky because, like I said, we're stuck within this range right now. So it's not something I would personally be looking to take, but I'm glad to see that you caught that right there. So we got price pushing up. Again, this is tricky because these are possible sweep levels, and the trend here hasn't confirmed yet. So I'll be waiting until 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we can confirm the trend here on the 15-minute. It's got about 3 minutes left on it. So if it does push up higher and holds above that area, then okay, great. We'll look for possible buys. Same with the 30-minute over here. So what I'm going to be looking on the 30-minute is I'll look for price breaking close above it, retest the point of control, and then push up higher. That's what I can see happening over here, possibly with the 30-minute time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, we do have some nice rejections here. We have a rejection off the value low and volume low right here, plus the point of control. So the buys here could be looking good. It just kind of depends on how this candle closes, right? If it holds above this area for the next, I guess, 3 minutes, we can possibly get a push to the upside. But right now, we just don't have that confirmation yet. So if you look over here on the 15, this thing has not closed above it. So I gotta wait for it to close. We got price pushed up. Yeah, PC said, I see Brock likes MPSV2 off supplier demand. Good momentum play. Yeah, that's exactly what he looks for. So we had over here price bounce off the supply or the demand actually. We had a buy signal right here. Price is pushing away from demand, breaking retested off this demand level, and then he took it from right there and rode this up. Yeah, I agree. The supply and demand, yeah, and Brock said he gave two entries. So Brock could have gotten in right here too. There's actually two of them. So another one right here. If you wanted to go for two within the momentum. It's a break and retest right there off the supply and demand. So the high-low break and retest is pushing up higher, guys, as we speak. We got a lot of entries here kind of running alongside each other. We had the MPS V2 from right here. We had another MPS V2 that came up right here. Second one of this momentum. Um, yeah, price is still pushing up. So we'll see. Sam got in for the sweep over here, it looks like. Did you get in for 15? It looks like if you got in for 15, Sam, you already got out. So in and out quickly. But our directional moves here are still pushing. All right, we got 1 more minute until this candle closes. So if this ends up closing above this area, we will have a shift in trend. So the shift in trend here will start to shift to bullish. The 1 minute is obviously bullish already. The 5 minute is shifting to bullish, and the 15-minute over here also has shifted right there, or it may shift if it closes above. So MPS V2 right there, full TP looks like. Yeah, full TP right there off the MPS V2. And then we have the high-low break and retest still pushing right here. It looks like it already reached 30 points. So if you guys reach 30 points, I would recommend moving your stop loss and profit. So I'd move your stop loss and profit to 10 points if that's what you guys are looking for here on the high-low break and retest. All right, so there's not a full confirmation here yet, but I mean, there's a possibility that price will continue to climb up higher from where it's currently at. So if that's the case, we'll continue following it here. I just don't know if this will actually hold above. This right here looks like it's starting to create a U shape. Looking for that U tool. Yeah, it's trying to create a U shape right there. So this is a little tricky because this here could shift right back to the downside. There's no confirmation of the bullish trend yet. I mean, the 15-minute showed that it was trying to shift up, but it hasn't really confirmed. So let's go back to the 15-minute over here. Like I said, I need price to close above the pivots and hold above this area. If it doesn't hold above this area, then price can likely just pull right back down. Right? We need to wait for that to hold. We really want this to stay up there in order for us to start looking for some buys here. I mean, the overall bias for today is still bullish, so, or it's bullish with caution, right? So we're still looking for price to continue pushing up, but we need to have the trend here confirmed. So the high-low break and retest looks like it's about to close right there. There's possibly another high-low break and retest setting up right here at the 44, 768. So another possible high-low break and retest off that higher high right there. I'm gonna try to get into this one if it closes, which it will.
Order submitted.
Got my pending order right
Order.
here. So there's a couple entries.
Order
So
submitted.
we have a high-low break and retest setting up right here. Got my pending order right here at 44,768.
Order filled.
So it looks like I'm in it now. We got a lot of liquidity sitting up here, so this could be a possible push up higher. Clean this up a little bit. The trend here is kind of shifted a little bit. I like the volume on the push right here. So this one over here had nice volume above average. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to push up and pretty much grab all this upper liquidity, right? We have a ton of liquidity hanging out up here. And I'm going to see if price here can push up higher and like blast through that area above. See if we can pull back up right here. If this here hits my stop, it's fine. I'll be looking for another opportunity to get back in. This here was a bit of a quick entry. So let's see. I want this to push up higher from where it's currently at. And we'll see if it grabs all this upper liquidity up here. So we got a ton of liquidity sitting up here. The trade that I got in here was a break and retest. So price broke and closed above this higher high, retested right there. And now we're looking for this to push up and knock out this upper liquidity. Let's take a look at the overall trend over here. So yeah, the trend here is looking nice on the 1 minute. It's looking good on the 5 minute. It's looking good on the 15 if it holds above this area. Looking over here at the market profile, it's doing exactly what I talked about earlier, break and retest off the point of control. So we got a nice rejection right here off the point of control. Looking over here on the 1 hour, same thing. Rejection off the point of control. And I'm just looking for this here to push up higher from where it's currently at. It's just, this is the open of the 7 o'clock candle. So the volatility here might stay a little low, but we do have a lot of confluences here indicating that a bullish push should happen, right? Rejection here on the 1 hour, rejection right here on the 30-minute, bullish trend over here on the 1, 5, and 15. The 30-minute and 1 hour, the higher time frames are still bearish, but the lower time frames here are shifting up a little bit. So it's got to give it some time here to kind of breathe. But like I said, we're here on the open of the new 7 o'clock candle. So on this hourly candle, we might get some consolidation before price actually pushes up. So we'll see. Again, I'm trying to get into this here. If this hits my stop, it's completely fine. I'll try to get in on the next one. It's just, it's a little tricky when you get in on the first candle here off the hourly. Because you get the mix and my stop got hit.
Stop
It's all
filled.
good. I'll be waiting for the next entry here. So my stop right here got hit. I'm going to be looking for price to push back up again for another reclaim of this area, which is going to be this higher high. Yeah. It looks like price here might just consolidate for a little bit. Unfortunately, I got caught in this consolidation range off the new hourly candle. Okay, so I'll be looking for price to push back up from here. Push up from this area, break and close past this higher high, and push up and grab this liquidity. I mean, the setup was good. Everything here kind of lined up. Bullish trend was confirmed. We had market profile here that confirmed the push to the upside as well. It's just price didn't end up pushing up higher. It ended up staying right in between where it currently was. So I'll be waiting for that next opportunity here. But this here was a valid setup. All right, let's see what we got over here. All right, so now we're stuck in this range. Just when we thought the volatility would pick back up, it just ended up going flat again. So we're stuck in this consolidation range right here down the middle. I'm going to be looking for price to push above and continue climbing up higher. But I think right now we might just get some consolidation again for a bit. The volatility here is starting to slow down, currently at 22 ATR. Let's see. PC said maybe back to open. I don't think so. I mean maybe, but I don't think so. Because so here's like with my entry that I just took right here, the volume confirmed here. So there's a lot of confirmation. You see our price is now pushing up. I feel like we just got caught in the consolidation right here, but there's so many confluences here for price to push up. Like we had volume break right here. So the volume broke the average. We had, or I mean, what could have happened here too is price was overextended. That could have been the case, right? Because price did push up from this point right here. Let me measure from this low. I mean, it did push up quite a bit. So like price did break and close past this area. It was a 40% push to the upside. So with that being the case, I mean, it is due for retracement, but I don't think it's going to pull back all the way below because everything is pointing towards the upside now with all the confluences. It's just this was an unlucky entry, and now we're looking for price to push up higher. Push up higher and then hopefully, make it past this area again, giving us another opportunity for entry. I'm hoping we get one more opportunity today for entry. Otherwise, I mean, we're going to be stuck in limbo here again. I mean, price could pull back to open, but let's take a look over here again. It just kind of depends on how everything here confirms. If this here doesn't confirm, like on the 15 minute, if it doesn't hold above the pivots, then yes, we can probably go back to open. But everything else over here is kind of pointing towards a buy, unless we have a rejection here off the value high now. That's kind of what happened here too. Rejection off the value high, and then possibly reversal back down. So let's see. Let's see what happens here. I mean, either way, we got to wait for price to break out of this range. So until price breaks out of this range, there's not really going to be much confirmation. Man, the buy there just looks so good because of all the liquidity. You guys can see all this liquidity has been hanging out here for a while. So I was hoping it was going to come grab liquidity and then come down after it bounced off the supply zone up there. Yeah, Sam said it's just trading. You get one, and with a 1 to 2 risk reward, all will settle. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm looking to try to get into one more trade here. Because if I get into one more trade, I'll make that loss back plus profit. So it's not really a big deal. It's just, the type of market that we're currently in right now. It's so tricky. Yeah, PC said days after Fed rates is tricky. Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, like, everybody wants price to be bullish, right? Everybody wants interest rates to get cut. We want price to continue up. Daily buys for today was bullish with caution. I thought, with price pushing up here, we'd finally get that continuation up to pretty much grab this liquidity, but that just wasn't the case. This is the same thing that happened yesterday. We had price getting really close to the upper liquidity, but we didn't even get any entries from that day. And we got price here now pulling back down. So now that price is pulled below this range, that back to open that you were talking about, PC might be valid now. Because now it looks like things are starting to shift. We were over here in a bullish trend. Now price looks like it's attempting to shift back to bearish. No confirmation yet, but it looks like it might be the case. The 1 minute here is starting to shift down. The 5 minute here is starting to shift down, and the 15 minute is starting to come right back down here. 30 minute market profile, we do have a rejection right here off the value high. 1 hour market profile, we do have rejection right here off the point of control. So we got rejections here off the top end. And you can see over here from the orb, it's doing exactly what we talked about earlier, right? I mentioned when price pulls out of this area, look for it to pull back into the range. And that's literally what's happening here. Faked out right there, pull back into the range. Yeah, Sam today says he hates the day before because everything starts ranging. Yeah, and we're back into this range, guys. So we're back to where we started from earlier, right? I tried to use the volume here to be helpful for us to like kind of see if price was going to continue pushing that in that direction. But you can see here that the volume isn't always going to be that helpful. I mean, it's useful to an extent, but it's not going to be an end all be all. Like, although everything here looked good for a buy, it just didn't pull through. Even though the volume was there. Price pushed up, momentum was following it, and it didn't end up holding. So if this is the case here, I would ideally like to see if price may possibly push below and then maybe ride this back down to this lower low. But I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here because we got a lot of sideways market here so far. There's an MPS V2 that came up right here for a sell. So there's entries that are coming up. They're just coming up kind of quickly. There's no confluence or rejection off this point, so I don't know if this is when you'd be looking at Brock. There's no rejection off the supply and demand. All right, we got price pulling back up right here. So we're still stuck in this range, guys. I was hoping we get some direction, whether it be to the upside, whether it be to the downside, but we are not really getting that here at all. So, all right, looks like we might get a continuation retest to the upside. I mean, the buys here aren't really looking so good anymore. I was hoping price was going to just turn the other way, but yeah, I'm not really too. I mean, we'll see. We'll see where price ends up pushing up here. Like for the most part, I'm not really looking to take buys here because the overall trend here has kind of shifted a little bit back to a sell. But I mean, I guess we'll see what happens here. If anything, I would need price to push like really high up here before I can actually start looking for possible buys. Because I don't want to trade within this middle range here, of course. Gotcha. Yeah, Barack said there's an M1 supply there from pre-session. Gotcha. Let's see. PC said demand at open held strong. If we break 783, we could continue up. Yeah, I mean that's where I'm looking for too, PC up here. I'm not really looking to take buys around this lower area here. I'm looking for price to push up here before I start looking for any trades in that direction. If anything, I'd prefer price to come back lower and then I'd take a sell from down here. Yeah, I think ideally I'd prefer to look for some sells here versus buys. Let's see, Hussein said price holding 20 EMA on 5-minute chart. So is it holding the 20 EMA for bullish or for bearish, Hussein? I'm assuming, let me see. I'm assuming bearish, right? Because it's bearish over here on my 5. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if price breaks and closes past the opening price. If this is the case, we may have a possible high-low break and retest to the downside right here. All right, we'll see what happens here. There's no new low. We got news in 15 minutes. It's going to be low impact gas stock change. Yeah, nothing crazy, but yeah, something to be aware of. Man, we're still stuck in this consolidation range. These are the markets that I hate the most, honestly. I don't like trading in a ranging market at all. We do have sideways strategy sweeps and V1 variations, but for me personally, I just don't really like trading sideways markets. Um, I'm more of a directional trader, and unfortunately, the market has not been directional for this past week. Typical NFP week, though. We got NFP happening tomorrow, guys. So I was hoping by today we'd start to get some direction, but it's just not the case. I mean, tomorrow we'll probably have some direction pre-market and on to open, but then it might kind of flatten out a bit later. All right, just gonna wait here. Yeah, just gonna wait. I mean, price is stuck within this range right here. If it breaks above, that's not gonna be a high-low break and retest. I wouldn't really take buys from this point. I would be a little more cautious. All right, not much going on there, guys. All right, guys. Again, I'm looking for price to push above here for me to take buys. Not really looking to take buys around this area. If you do want to take a buy around this area, I mean, you can take a high-low break and retest from this lower high, but I wouldn't really recommend it because the overall trend here has not confirmed for a buy. Ideally, I would like price to come down lower, break below here, and then take a high-low break and retest to the downside. Because the overall trend here, I mean, we've been following this overall trend. It's been bearish pretty much all day. I was hoping the shift would happen here for bullish, but it just never happened. So, with that being the case, if this is the continuation or correction back to the downside, ideally, I'd like to be on this side of the market. Looking over here, we do have rejection off the 1 hour market profile. It's rejecting off the value high. And then over here on the 1 hour, we have rejection right here off the point of control. So we have a lot of confidences here for price to possibly push lower. Same with the orb over here. Price is retesting the orb. Ideally, if price comes back below, I'll look for it to push down to this lower orb low. So my sells here would be a little more validated taking it that direction. It's just an NFP. It's typical NFP week, so it's kind of expected. So, I mentioned this at the beginning of the week, and I mentioned this last week. NFP is either going to be really good or it's going to be really bad. It's never like really down the middle. Right now, the NFP week has not been super good to us. Um, or to me, just me specifically, because I haven't been we've had winning trades throughout the week. I just haven't taken those winning trades. I end up getting caught in like the one trade that loses, unfortunately. That's why right now I'm looking to take another trade here so I can possibly bounce back from that. But NFP is kind of like that. It's you're usually going to be on one side of the fence for NFP. Last NFP was great though. So if you guys remember the last NFP that we had, it was pretty good. Looking at my stats over here from that first week. I mean, it wasn't super great, but it was decent. And then for this week, we'll see how this plays out by tomorrow. So we have price pushing down lower, guys. We have a possible high-low break and retest off this 44,676. 44,676. Possible break and retest below this level right here. We got about 20 seconds left on it, so I'll see if I can maybe get into this if it does close below it. So we got about 10 seconds left on this candle right here. Don't like the price action there. Didn't actually close below it, so no entry there for high-low break and retest. We'll see here again, price might retest it a second time. So possibly a high-low break and retest from that area right there if it ends up dropping lower. If it doesn't end up dropping lower, then what might happen here is there's going to be a new low established below this point, and the range just got a little farther out. So it looks like price here might consolidate range within this area further. But if it closes below this point, we may have possible high-low break and retest right here. All right, so we're starting to get some momentum here. We'll see if this could be a possible high-low break and retest off the 44,676. I'll just put a pending order there. If it doesn't fill, then I'm going to cancel it. So we got this here closing in about 3 seconds. I'll just put my order there now. I don't
Order
know if this will
submitted.
fill. If this doesn't fill, of course, I'll just cancel it because it's kind of far down.
Order.
So this right here
Order
is a
filled.
high-low break and retest right there off of the 44,676. Price is at the sessions right here, so there may be some manipulation at this area. This session was kind of disregarded for this specific entry because price already tested it a bunch. So this is pretty much a washed up sessions from earlier today. So we'll see what happens here. If I get stopped out of this, I'm done for the day. And I'm stopped out. Okay.
Stop filled.
Okay, so that's I'm taking a third of a risk per trade, guys. I'm at my two losses for the day, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up with regard to my entries. I could take one more trade if I really, really wanted to, but you guys can see here, this market is just not really moving directional at all. It's I mean, it just keeps getting pulled back into this middle range. It's all good. So I took that one right there. All right, so unfortunately, I took two losses for the day. The good thing is that I halved my risk into three trades. So for me to take one full loss, I have to take three losses back to back. I took two losses back to back here, so I'm almost at that full loss for the day. Um, but it's all good. It's just, this is the market that we're currently in right now. I was looking for price to break past this area and continue lower, or I was looking for price to break above this area and continue up higher. Unfortunately, we don't really have that here. Price ends up, it pulls below this area and then it just pulls right back into the range. So we're probably going to be stuck within this range for a bit. I mean, if anything, we're probably just going to get a continued back and forth movement from here. So if you guys want to continue trading, I'd probably just stick to sweeps. Um, Here, let me see if the sweep here would have played through. I think the sweep still would have stopped out. Yeah, so it didn't really matter here. If you took either trade, if you took a sweep or if you took the sweep here would have just slightly stopped you out and then it would have went right back into profit. So it's really tough to trade in this type of market. Whether you're taking sideways entries or you're taking directional moves, you probably have to have like a pretty wide stop loss to survive these trades here. My stop losses are pretty tight. They're at 20 points. So for me, when I get stopped out, I don't really lose too much. And then um, I also made my contract sizes a lot smaller, so I'm not really risking as much as I typically would. But, and I wouldn't be surprised if this thing comes all the way back down, right? So it looks like I just got faked out right here. And then I wouldn't be surprised if this thing comes back lower from here. Those are the worst, right? So yeah, I got stopped out right here, and it looks like price is coming back down. Yeah, it's not, so when this happens, this is when you guys should like understand like this is probably a good time to just stop trading. So for me, instead of trading on tilt, I'm just gonna stop trading. I'll keep looking for entries for you guys here. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. But this is gonna prevent me from trading on tilt. I'm okay with my two losses for the day. They were minimal risk, 20 points, with my risk halved into three. So I didn't really lose too much on this. But if this thing does come back down, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, right? Possible stop out and then continuation back down lower. See, I'm looking at the volume here too. This trade just looked like a good trade. So you see over here, our price broke and closed below the the lower low. So if you look down at the volume, there was momentum behind it. It just didn't hold. So price broke and closed below it, didn't actually hold, pushed up for the fake out, and then it came right back down right after. So it's just a set of unlucky entries here. The ones previously here hit, so these over here hit, and these over here, of course, didn't hit, of course, as price was looking like it was going to set up properly. Either way, I mean, the confluences were there, so I'm okay with those. I consider these fair losses. So, like, whenever you guys take a trade, if you guys take a loss or a win, I always try to grade the trade, whether it's a fair loss, a bad loss, um, a neutral trade. For this, I consider these fair losses because everything was lined up in my favor, right? We had the overall trend here, which was bearish. So I was trading with the trend. We had confluences over here, rejection off the value high on the 30-minute, rejection off the point of control here on the 1 hour. So we had confluences for sells. Everything here looked good for a sell. The only thing here is that price didn't actually continue dropping. So it's all good. Um, Yeah, PC said it was at demand. So here's the thing with the supply and demand. The thing is that price is always going to be at the supply or demand, right? Like if you look over here, this is how exactly how it was yesterday. Like every entry that hit was at the supply and demand. So like for me, it's like I just had to disregard the supply and demand because there's no way of trading outside of it, right? It's impossible to take sells here. If we were to take sells at any point down here, it'd still be within the demand zone, right? Regardless. And same with the supply here, right? If we were trying to take anything here, the problem is that the market's been ranging. So let's go over here on the higher time frame, the 15 minute. Like, see how price here has been consolidating within this area? We had consolidation here from Tuesday up until Wednesday, up until Thursday, up until today, right? So this heavy consolidation here makes it tough to take trades outside the supply and demand because it's going to be stuck in the supply and demand regardless. So it's all good. But let's see. Sam sit for news. It should come down a bit. News forecasted bearish. Yeah. That's what I was thinking too, because I was looking at the news for today and I was expecting it to continue dropping. So I was like, okay, this is a pre-news movement. And then obviously price here got manipulated up and then it came right back down. Jonathan said he's done for the day. No, so I get my supply and demand levels from the higher time frames, from the 4 hour, 1 hour. I do use a ChatGPT for confluence. So if it lines up with it, I'm like, okay, it's a good supply and demand zone, but I get it from the higher time frames. Sometimes at 30 if I don't see anything good on the 1 hour or the 4 hour, but typically I try to get the supply and demand from the higher time frames, 4 hour and 1 hour. Yeah, Shiv said he took the L's today. He's out for today. Bad week for him, but he's hoping to catch a break tomorrow. Yeah, I agree. Christian as well, he's out for the day. Yeah, so this is like the key thing, guys. If you guys can control yourself to not trade on tilt, then you'll be perfectly fine, right? You're gonna have days like this where losses happen, and when days like losses happen like this, you just got to know not to keep trading. If you can see over here, I mean, there's not much going on. I mentioned this from the beginning of the session. Price is probably gonna range within this middle area, and that's exactly what's happening here, right? So it's the same range that we talked about from earlier this morning. Market opened right here. I said, look at the range down the middle. Be careful for the fake outs outside of the range. Faked out right here, faked out down here, faked out up here, faked out again right here for the sell. And price is still kind of just sitting right here down the middle. So Let's see. Barack said if I got a bullish momentum there, I would take it. Yeah, there's bullish momentum setting up right here. So this could possibly set up for another MPS V2. Let's see. Question from Hussein. Hussein said, "Hi, Sean. How do you use ChatGPT? I've noticed that sometimes it gives inaccurate information, even with the paid version, and storage gets full after a certain amount of conversations." Hmm. So I've never had mine get full. I do agree with the inaccurate information. So like that's why I just mentioned with Sam or with PC right here. I'll look at like what ChatGPT gives me, but I'll also check myself directly. Because the thing is, ChatGPT is pulling this information from like different websites. Uh, you have to be very specific with your prompt. Like your prompt has to be, you have to ask for very specific things. Um, like let me see, I don't have my prompts on here, but yeah, basically I ask for very specific things. So like I have a whole list of things that I ask for, but then I don't pull it from that data. So like here's my prompt list. So like basically I'll ask for like prior close, overnight range. I don't just ask it a generic question. You're probably asking it something generic. You have to be very specific with what you want to ask it. Like I ask it what's a prior close, overnight range, pre-market price, daily chart analysis, trend, support, resistance, VWAP, EMAs, volume, RSI, MACD, supply and demand. So I ask them all of these questions right here, like very specifically. So it gives me very specific answers. And then I ask it even deeper. I'm asking it, okay, what are the key biases? What are the major trading levels? And then again, I ask it, what's the key supply and demand, right? I ask it the supply and demand about 3 times. So I can have a different, like I see if they're the same or if they're different. I ask it for the initial data, then I ask it for a trading plan, and then I ask it again for key supply and demand specifically. And then I try to match those up to see if they line up properly with my supply and demands to see if they line up. And they usually do. For the most part, they do line up pretty well. Um, but yeah, yeah, that's the main thing I can probably recommend to you if you are using ChatGPT. You can't ask it a basic question. Like you can't just say, hey ChatGPT, a give me an analysis of YM for the day, right? It's not going to be good enough. You have to tell it, first you have to tell ChatGPT, like you're a professional futures trader, professional futures analyst, and then you have to ask it the prompt, and then you have to ask for very specific things. That's how I ask that's how I ask ChatGPT for my daily outlooks. But it's a whole process. It's not just all in one prompt. It's like I ask it for all the data points, and I ask it to put those data points into a trading plan. And then I reiterate, like, okay, now give me supply and demand levels. And then I line it up with mine. You can also feed it your own data too. So you don't have to ask it for the data. You can feed it the data. And then if you feed it the data, it could give you it can write up the plan for you. So there's a couple different ways to do it. I just don't really like feeding it the data because it takes too much time. And I'm not basing my analysis off these daily outlooks anyways. This is just confluence for me. My strategy stays the same. I just use this as a confluence for my entries. But all right, guys, so you can see here price has not really gone anywhere. It's still stuck within this range here. So like I said, it doesn't matter what the analysis is. Price is still stuck within this range here regardless. Doesn't matter if you're taking buys, doesn't matter if you're taking sells. It is uh it is still stuck in between this area here. So I got burned both ways. I got burned for a buy and I got burned for a sell. That's kind of what told me like, okay, it doesn't matter which direction I'm trading in. The market here is still going to stay in this range. So I was hoping I'd finally get this breakout in the other direction, but obviously was not the case here. Yeah, Sam said news messed up the MPS V2. Glad he was not in on it. Yeah, I agree. Choppiness right there, right? Spiked up, spiked down, spike right back up right here. Yeah, PC said ChatGPT is good, but nothing is better than human intellect. Yeah, exactly. That's why I use ChatGPT or not just ChatGPT, but like other AI. I use ChatGPT and other AI as a supplement, right? I still do the analysis myself. I still follow my specific strategies. I don't necessarily take trades that ChatGPT tells me. I just look at it to give me confidence. So like for example, if I'm looking for a buy here, right, like earlier right here, I was looking for a buy. I had the confluences here for a buy earlier, and then also my daily outlook was bullish. So with that being said, I was okay with taking the buy there, right? That's why I consider this a fair loss. It's a loss that I took, but it's a loss that I was following my trading plan. Same with the sell over here, right? The sell I took right here, um, we had confluences. My overall trend here was bearish. I didn't follow the ChatGPT analysis, but everything here kind of lined up. So I considered both of these trades fair losses for me. If I took a trade and there was no strategy behind it, or if I didn't have any confluences, then that would be a bad loss. Like it would just be considered, um, a loss that I wouldn't, that I shouldn't have taken. For these losses here, these are fair losses, so they're losses that I would have taken regardless of the fact. Let's see. PC said Copilot's good too. More data secure too. Is Copilot is that part of Apple or is that Google? I've heard of Copilot. I just haven't used it. Let me see. I'll look it up. Because I know for Google I use Gemini sometimes. Oh, it's Microsoft. Okay, yeah, it's Microsoft. Gotcha. Yeah, no, I have an account with Copilot too. I have an account with like pretty much all the different AIs. I specifically use ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT is more it's more advanced compared to a lot of the other ones. Um, they all have like similar data, but I feel like ChatGPT does have it's just a little more advanced, of course. All right, so with that said, guys, if there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to put your questions in the chat. 7:38 right now. We're getting closer to 8 o'clock. As you guys can see here, price has not broken out of this range. It's still sitting within this area, so it doesn't really matter which direction you guys take a trade. It's going to be tricky regardless of the fact. You can take it for a buy, you can still get faked out. You can take it for a sell, you can still get faked out. So, if anything, if you really want to take trades in this market, guys, you could take your chances with sweeps. There was a sweep that happened right here. Base your sweep off the ATR, or you can go for the 40-20. It's really up to you. So sweep right there off this lower high. We have a new higher high right here. So if you are looking to take a sweep, take it off the extremes. So again, if you want to take a sweep here for a buy, I would take the sweep that happens from down here. Yeah. Yeah, Sam said missed it. It's all good. It's all good. Ooh. Ah, this market's getting me sleepy and lazy. All right, we got price kind of just right here down the middle again. All right, let's see if price actually pushes past this area. I mean, if it doesn't, then we will continue to wait. All right, guys, nothing going on here again. I was looking for price to break and close above this higher high and push up higher, but we are not getting that. So I don't recommend taking any trades within this middle area right here, guys. I mean, you can even disregard the supply and demand zones because the thing is, like, it doesn't really matter. Price is still going to stick within this middle range here. If you guys do want to take trades, of course, I'd wait for price to really break out of this area. Initially, I thought the breakout right here would be fine, but it obviously I was wrong. It's got to push pretty far down. So if you guys want to take, here, let me zoom out of this or zoom in a little bit. So if you do want to take trades, I mean, I'd have to say wait for price to push all the way up here for buys, or wait for price to push all the way down here for sells. I wouldn't really take anything down the middle here unless you're going for those sweeps. Because what I can see happening here is, just more fake outs, possibly push below, fake out, pull back into the range. Vice versa, price push above, fake out, pull back into the range. Yeah, Sam said, man, sweeps are so quick. It's like, it's what you like, Sean, you cheeky. Got us into talking. Yeah, no, the sweeps are good. I mean, the sweeps are pretty solid. I was taking the sweeps for a while, like for a cool minute, I was taking the sweeps with you guys because we were in a ranging market. Then we cut into a directional market. That's why I started to focus more on the high-low break and retest and the breakouts. But I mean, you guys can see from the market today, it's all over the place. You can see our price, it's pushed out of the range, pushed back into the range. So like over here, this is where I took my sell entry. I was expecting price to like kind of break past this area and pull to the lower range, but didn't actually do that, right? It just ended up pulling right back into the middle range. And that's like the tough part about trading this ranging market because you're expecting price to go back and forth between the range, but sometimes it just gets stuck in one side of it, which is this upper end of the range. Yeah, I mean, overall, I'm gonna take this volume off the chart. I don't really like it. Like it just makes the chart kind of messy. Anyways, so today we had a lot of messy entries. So we had a sweep, sweep, MPSV2, MPSV2, high-low break and retest, high-low break and retest right here, which was a loss. This is an MPSV2 for a sell, high-low break and retest, which was a loss, and then a sweep over here from this upper range. The orb for today was a loss. It didn't matter which direction you took it in. If you took it for a buy here, it would have lost. If you took it for a sell here, it would have lost regardless. So the orb here pretty much would have screwed you in either direction you decided to take it in. Um, so this is like when you see an orb entry that it comes up like this is like really questionable, right? I think when this happened today, I should have just sat out of the market because this would have prevented me from getting into this suckered move over here and this one down here as well. Um, you don't really see this happen very often. For the orb, usually you'll have one that loses and you'll have one that continues in the opposite direction, which is supposed to be the true direction, right? For today, the orb here, and I'm going to keep this in mind moving forward. If the orb kind of burns you in both directions, then you should expect the market to be very choppy for the rest of the day. I think that's going to be something to maybe look at as we continue to move along because it is yeah, this here is, I mean, this is a good, I guess like a deciding factor because this doesn't usually happen very often, right? If you look at the order from yesterday, so this is the orb from yesterday. Actually, the same thing happened yesterday too, and I didn't take any trades yesterday, so this would have been screwed from the, or actually, no, the orb would have hit here. No, it would have been screwed. So orb would have burned you here for a sell, and the orb also would have burned you here for a buy, I think. Or actually, let me see. No, the orb here would have won for a buy. So this one wasn't the same thing. Over here, though, it would have burned you either way. So if you took the orb here for a buy, yeah, stopped you out. You took the orb here for a sell, would have stopped you out 'cause price never pushed 40 points in that direction, whether it was regular orb or break and retest. All right, again, guys, we are back in this range. Again, there's nothing here happening. It's just back and forth. So, like I said earlier, there's no need to force any trades here. I mean, ideally, it seems like a lot of you guys here are done trading for the day, which I would have taken the same. Well, I did take the same route. I'm not trading anymore for the day because I took two losses. Um, I'm still having my risk into three. So, if you guys want to do that, I think that's probably like the best option in this type of market, guys. We're still in the summer market. You guys got to remember that. Summer markets are like this. We have a lot of choppiness, a lot of sideways, a lot of back and forth. For me, what I've done is I've halved my risk into three trades. So I'm able to take three trades per day to equal one loss. I'm not making as much profit as I was before, and but I'm also not losing as much as I was before per loss. My rule of thumb before was if I took one loss for the day, then I'd be done trading. Um, for now, I can take three trades. So once the market starts to move more directional and we have more consistency with regard to the trading week or the trading month, then I will pick up my contract size and I'll probably um, go for more high quality trades. For right now, I'm better off kind of spreading my risk out a little bit. So if I do take a loss, I can make it back on the next one, versus just taking one loss and then being done. Because this is kind of what's been happening a lot over the past couple of months, right? We have like a lot of trades here that come up. For whatever reason, I end up taking the losing one and the one after that wins. So for me, I like to have that backup where I can take both trades. Yeah, Sam said tomorrow, last day of the month, NFP, just chill for the week. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. If I don't see anything good, like it's got to be really good for me to take an entry tomorrow. Yeah, it's got to be really, really good for me to take any entries tomorrow. Let's see. Sam's asking Sean, what's ChatGPT predict for NFP tomorrow? Let's ask. So let's see. You are a professional futures trader. What is or provide a comprehensive analysis for YM Dow Futures based on the on-farm payroll data tomorrow, or today's the last day of August. Tomorrow's August 1st, first of the month, August 1st, 2025. Okay, let's ask ChatGPT what they got to say for tomorrow. All right, I'll move this over here. All right, so here's a professional forward-looking preview to YM E-mini Dow Futures. It's August 1st non-farm payroll report covering July, along with trade setups and tactical guidelines. So, yeah, news is going to come out tomorrow. Market expects growth to slow approximately 60,000 to prior 147K June. Some forecasts suggest 102K jobs, institutional views, seasonal headwinds, cooling labor demand, stronger than forecast, likely with risk-off reaction. Equities tend to sell off. Weaker than expected readings. Let's see. So, depending on like what is released, I mean, there's a couple different setups here. There's not really going to be, yeah, it's not really one-sided. I mean, it's expected. So it says over here that it's expected to be slower. So not exactly good. So over here for directional moves, watch for initial spike, but fade quickly. Okay. Yeah, so it's what it's mentioning here is really just fade the NFP. So like look for the breakout and then trade it the opposite direction. That's kind of what it's saying over here. So if it's strong NFP, short from resistance. If it's weak NFP, long from support. So basically look for price to I mean overall it's just saying to fade the spike, which I can see happening too. It's probably not going to continue. So tomorrow when NFP comes out, if it spikes in the opposite, if it spikes to the upside, then take the sell back down from resistance and vice versa. If price spikes to the downside, buy it from the support levels. So I agree with this here, and that's probably going to be the case. All right, so we have price breaking below here now, guys. Price is breaking below. Yeah, Sam also mentioned also this China-India tariffs, August 1st. Trump's ultimatum. Yeah, we have the tariff news coming out starting next week too. So coming back on Monday, we're gonna have a lot of trickiness with regard to market direction based off the tariffs. PC said no matter news, the technicals always play through because market falls liquidity. I mean, yeah, you can't really predict the news. Like, the news will spike and then from there it'll bounce off whatever areas. That's basically what ChatGPT said. It said to fade the support resistance. So if price spikes into the resistance, then fade it from there. If it spikes into the support, fade it from there. So we'll kind of see. But all right, guys, it's about to be 8 o'clock. I don't really see anything here right now. If you guys are looking to take any entries again, like I said, I probably would wait until price breaks below to down here for some sells, and then vice versa, look for price to break above over here for some buys. Otherwise, there's just not really much else here to take. Yeah, there's just not much here to take. So unfortunately, guys, I'm gonna close this day with two losses. I'm trading with a 1 to 2, so it's technically only one loss because I do have my risk and I have my stop loss. So I'm technically added up into like almost one loss for the day. I have my risk into three trades, and then I also I'm doing a 1 to 2. So I did take a loss over here for half, obviously 20 points, and then a loss over here for 20 points. So I'm down 40 points for the day, which is not too much. It's just enough to get me going. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have some better entries and we can hopefully continue on. Yeah, Brock over here as well. Brock said he hit his trades weren't hitting either. So it's tough. It's tough to be going in that direction. But all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, we're pretty much done for the day. Didn't really take anything here with regard to these directions. If you guys do decide to trade again, wait for price to break below the 44,588. And if you want to take buys, wait for price to break above the 44,781. Again, I would recommend just sitting out of this market, coming back tomorrow fresh, and then hopefully bouncing back for NFP. So, all right, guys, that's about it. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. So, all right, guys.